from the CTs. An Inferno pistol round is actually perhaps for the CT side is one of the hardest, I think, to really do well on. I mean, it's very difficult because you don't want the Glocks to sort of just rush on top of you on a bomb site and close the distance. And in the proximities of these close choke points, the Glocks are really scary. And so there's no good answer to this round for a CT side. And we can see the experimentation from Team Liquid here. So I'm curious to see how it will play out. And we're about to see that. MIBR looking to push in towards the A side of the map. Actually, it's unclear whether or not they'll try a quick double back here down through Banana. That is still an option that is available to them. Perhaps they are waiting to see how well this arch push goes, and no one's down just yet, just flashing into the A bomb site. This is looking like quite a nice approach, but no one from Team Liquid is dead just yet, holding down some key positions to try to make it work.
Nitro moved into the apartments, moves back out, gets a kill, and is ultimately traded. 3 versus 4 retake. Nafly gets a very important frag, but his teammate is lost soon afterwards. That's another massive frag from him. 2 versus 2 now. There is not a kit on these two players, but these frags are coming in thick and fast. Naf delivering. That's 3 kills for him so far, but now he's being taken out. Twist to deliver the last one if he can. Tarek's got very limited space to move with, and Team Liquid are very vocal about that final kill. That's the kind of start you want on a CT side.
Yeah, beautiful response from Naf to get the much-needed kills to really make that difficult for MIBR. And I think Liquid, I don't know if they have any sort of knowledge as to some of the tendencies that MIBR might sort of lean towards. Obviously, it's very difficult because considering that they've got Tarek in there now and they're going to be playing very loose. But I do think they're so cool that they managed to hold on to some of those key positions just to hold presence in pit, for example, behind the smoke, making it so that MIBR could not take that position. And they didn't want to push close into it, and so they were happy to stay on the site. And eventually, of course, the pit player died, but he bought enough time for his teammates to come in.
We have a surprise buy here from MIBR. Normally, when you plant the bomb in round number 1, you will eco and then pull out the AKs in round number 3. But MIBR don't even want to go that far. They're bringing out the big guns immediately. Fallen with a scout, Fur with the UMP, the rest on pistols. They have a lot of utility, though, and I think that's going to be very important in getting close quarters with these weapons.
This is not what you expect from a team that is going to play loose. This is a response from a team that has specific drills for rounds such as this. So this is very curious that MIB are going for it, and it's definitely an exciting prospect, and this will absolutely surprise Team Liquid.
This is a gamble, but as you can see, I don't think MIBR have fired a shot yet, which means that Team Liquid still have no idea what to expect. They're probably expecting an eco rush. If you look at the way Nafly and Eleague are set up in the B bomb site, they're probably expecting eventually MIBR, who aren't afraid to take a slow round, will try to burst with Glocks, maybe P250s. And now we see MIBR starting to deploy some utility. There was a smoke towards Arch, now there's a smoke towards B. But Team Liquid haven't really seen much of MIBR. They don't really know what's going on, but Nitro has Gamble rotated towards the B bomb site.
Yeah, and there's more to say about this buy from MIBR, but let's see if the push actually works. So first kill coming in from Stewie, but the setup here from Liquid is looking phenomenal. They are only dropping 2 players. Naf still at the back of the bomb site with more grenades to come, and that should help him hold this off. Ooh, he misses the first couple of shots, and that is a horrible miss, as Cole will take full advantage. Another one from Cole. He's looking for the 4K here. That Deagle's still out. He knows that he has to hit the headshot. That's the only way that he wins this one. Looks for the player, knows there's no time to plant, and Twist will get it done. But the amount of damage done from MIBR was significant.
Fallen, I think he had the bomb and was going towards Banana. Yeah, he's got the bomb here, as you can see, and he starts to run away. Oh, he's looking for a rotating play, but he gets taken out there, and then he loses the bomb, which causes problems. I don't know if you heard a player then chose to take the engagement. There was a smoke down on CT, so arguably there was potentially time to plant, but I don't know if he was looking for a player to come or considering a rotation. But there was damage done from MIBR, and now it's a round for Team Liquid to stabilize as the Brazilian-American team failed. They did not plant the bomb. They do not have that bonus money. Not that it would give them a buy anyway. But perhaps this round would be more dangerous than it currently is. That's the AK-47 taken away. Everybody else is on pistols here. Glocks and 1 flashbang on Tarek. And it doesn't seem like that they will get that AK anytime soon, as Team Liquid starts to stream down the map. And that's a quick one. It's a brief one from Team Liquid. Nobody lost, so there is some extra money in the bag.
And one of the other reasons why that sort of surprise buy is cool very quickly is the fact that a lot of CT sides will obviously expect just pure Glocks in that round, and they'll play very aggressive. And so if you have the weaponry that they had, you can just win the round straight out. So it's very tricky stuff. I like that Team Liquid are taking a very stable approach. They themselves are minimizing their risks, trying to feel out this MIBR team. I don't think you do want to play super aggressively against them. You want to sort of feel their tendencies and see how they want to, what kind of pace they want to play the map with. And you can see how some of these buys have hurt them previously. 2 Galils, 3 AKs, an okay amount of utility, but not really enough to play a very long and drawn-out rounds. MIBR need to really find a way onto a site in the mid-rounds.
This is not the worst thing in the world, considering their roster. This is a team of fraggers that they have now, so they're one of the better equipped teams to deal with shortcomings such as this in their economy. It would be interesting to ask players how often they practice with a Galil. We always talk about the spray. It is similar to the Titan logo, but in a different direction. But how often does a professional player deathmatch with the Galil? Has higher than normal armor penetration, more than the M4A4. 4 players for Team Liquid towards the A site. Smoked off, but they're refusing to give up their positions on Arch. So it seems Nitro will be hungry for the information, and he will shut it to MIBR by re-smoking, or throwing, actually no, he threw a grenade into mid. It wasn't a smoke.
This is a big gamble right now from Liquid. They're seeing nothing top mid until 35 seconds. Okay, now they're starting to see some nades in, but they're playing retake on B with 1 player. And now there's a quick info play. They want to constrict MIBR as much as they can. MIBR have 1 smoke left. How do they get into a bomb site? There is no way other than just forcing their way in, hitting headshots. Liquid on their defensive setups with 4 players ready to defend and lock them in. There is surely no way that MIBR can take this round at this point. Liquid have, I think, outplayed them, outlasted them. Eleague in for the flank. Oh, that's a beautiful double on the spray. And now it's just Tarek looking to either not die after time or to save the gun somehow.
This is turning into a horrible start for MIBR. They don't have so many kills on the board here, and now Team Liquid are getting great opportunities to build up their money. So MIBR have taken some gambles. It is the first map of a best-of-3 series, so probably the best time to do them. And one thing we haven't mentioned, something to certainly look out for, Team Liquid have a bunch of bait setups on their CT side of Inferno, especially around that arch position. You may find a CT player in CT spawn looking through arch, hiding behind a pillar at a super tight angle, who will try to bait an engagement, and then somebody from the corner of the site will pop out and get some free kills. So keep an eye out for that as this game progresses. Now MIBR on the pistols, heading towards maximum loss bonus. So next round, win or lose, they will have everything they want.
Yeah, well, this is a good start for Team Liquid. And one of the advantages of MIBR, one thing they can maybe try to use as an edge in this round is the numbers and the pace with those pistols. But to already remove a player, thanks to Nitro's effort with the AK, that really hurts that effort from MIBR. So at this point, the best case really for them is to find a couple of kills and see what pressure they can get onto the economy of Team Liquid. And the AK has been collected by Stewie, and we know what he's capable of, kind of aggressive shenanigans. But Team Liquid's discipline has really been remarkable so far. They are playing a very tight game.
Re-smoke in the mid position, Stewie's looking for it, and he finds it through the corner of the smoke, instantly giving the AK to coldzera, who has armor as well. Stewie on 13 HP now. We see Fallen looking for angles. He might find a CT soon. Spotted a crouch peek, but that's some info for Liquid as well. And maybe that will invite Nafly further towards the A site. A 3rd man rotating for the CT side. Legion trusted with the B bomb sites in the meantime, but Liquid have seen 1 of 4 players. No grenades here for MIBR, no flashbangs, no way to burst into the site. They've just got to charge. They've got to use people and absorb these bullets.
Yeah, I really like, again, how MIBR have been trying to play this. And just Liquid are so good on these defensive setups. The spray comes in from Twist. He's going to be very comfortable for 3. 10 seconds now for Fallen to get the damage. He can finish off Twist. It's an easy one for him. And there is actually a chance for a plant hit. Fallen looking to try to clutch this, but I don't know if he has time to draw the gun. And indeed, Naf knows it, keeps the USP out and does the damage. But the bomb was planted and 3 kills were collected there by MIBR, and that's a pretty good result. But again, Liquid, they are really forcing MIBR into these spots where MIBR must play set pieces onto bomb sites to beat their setups.
Well, finally, MIBR will have a max buy. And that, I think the focus of that round was the 3 kills, not so much the bomb plant, because they're at max loss bonus anyway, but perhaps that money will come into play later on. In fact, it will help them get A really nice buy here, although Tarek still has a Galil, so maybe he bought too much. I don't know how that's possible at this point.
I think he bought the AK for the team last round.
Okay, so they went for the economic damage, and that's good awareness because they realize that their C2 money can quickly get out of control with the gambles that they've taken and failed on. So that's a really cool buy. I didn't even notice that.
Yes, they also had Fur, I think. If Liquid played a different style, he could have also picked up the AK. So yeah, I like some of the tricks that we're seeing from MIBR, and with the skill of the players that they have, any one of these guys can go off and create an incredible moment to bring the team into the fray and cause problems for Liquid. But Liquid, again, they're really focusing right now on playing a safe style. The risks that they are taking, again, are sort of a safe risk where it's like, okay, the risk is to stack towards the A site, but we're playing retake on B, so we're not going to risk that B player. And so they're making sure that MIBR have to really go very deep to get a bomb site, and that's where things get tricky.
The denial of information top mid isn't really working out right now. There were smokes down on Arch, and you see Taco is just still here. And this is not the first time we've seen this, so MIBR are coming back, but they may soon be seen. Does Taco go for a repeat? Twist starting to move back towards the A site from the short position, so it seems they are expectant, but how many frags can Taco really get from this position? Starting to peek, and it only takes Fallen one shot.
That was a pretty remarkable shot. I mean, Taco was even trying to avoid that with the way he was dodging around the corner, but still goes down and that's up to Twist. He's going to get encircled by all of these MIBR players. So off of the back of that contact play from Fallen, where he instantly takes down Taco at Arch, that was very much needed. Just not having any warning that the push was coming in via that contact play was exactly the way to counter how Liquid are playing this round. And we can see the B players have to save this time. And this round might force Team Liquid to be a little bit more active than they have been in trying to shut down some of the forward bits of map control that MIBR have been taking.
I was wondering what the idea was there for Team Liquid in the Arch position, because I felt like Taco may have been in no man's land. The players on short had fallen back. He was up the top of Arch, but he wasn't peeking any longer and was just waiting kind of around the corner. But I feel like, how many kills does he get there? Does he get 2 kills? If not, is the value there? I don't know. But that will be the first round on the board for MIBR. 2 Liquid players save, and they will be able to spread the wealth just fine for the time being. Now, MIBR, they need momentum. They cannot be reset at this point. That would be just great for the confidence of Team Liquid, who are 5-1 up at the moment here on Inferno. Yep. First map of this best of 3.
It's a good spot perhaps for Liquid to take a risk, maybe try to go heavy on banana control, try to do something that they so far have not been doing, because again, their defense has been marked by no aggression at all. And now we're going to start to see some of it. Indeed, this is a great way to try to switch things up. MIBR have found something that was working for them in that last round. Now Team Liquid are going to try to take initiative from a map control perspective. So at this point, they're going to say to MIBR, all right, if you guys want to take banana, you've got to flash through, you've got to spend time and utility doing that, and we may be stacking 4 players towards A. So we're going to force you to do that unless you want to run into 4 players. They have to force NAF back.
Second player has been rotated. So if you look at Team Liquid's, okay, they're still moving around. So they did have a bait set up, but it seems they've changed on Arch to a different approach for the time being. Some aggression around the boiler position, and now there are 4 players on banana starting to establish space, and Eleague and Nitro will rotate to bring 3 players towards the B bomb site. Now, when you just come out of Speedway or you're in CT spawn, if there's a push coming in, it can be really important to pop flash for your teammate on B. But look at this, MIBR, they've baited a rotation. 40 seconds on the clock, and 4 of their 5 players are at the top of A. Similar grenades to that to which we have seen already. 30 seconds now. Taco has limited information. There are 3 smokes down on Arch.
So this is actually really smart the way this is being played by MIBR, but we'll go into that in a moment as Twist has to get the defense in. Great flash coming in from a teammate as he takes down 1. There's 15 seconds to get the bomb planted at this point, and it's looking quite difficult. Nitro, that is so important, takes down 2 more, and finally, MIBR will have some space on the site to plant, but they've had heavy losses. A player on the bomb site, a player in pit. I believe those positions are known to Liquid at this point. We'll have to see if they can do anything about it. They have no utility. They have to just walk in at this point and hope that they guess right And that is not a very happy place to be. Eleague and NAF, the players to do it. Again, there's a lot of predictable setups, but they have to guess right the first time. Bomb is starting to get quite close to detonation, and Fallen takes down the first player. Tarek might find it safe to peek very soon, and indeed, Eleague wants to give up on it. Perfect timing from Tarek to punish him, and MIBR converts.
Really good timing. That's great patience and discipline from Tarek as well. He doesn't full peak immediately after the initial frag. He knows that it's not necessary. Some people may get too excited in that position, but again, these players will all be familiar with each other from all the pro circuit pugs and so on.
It was,
so there will be some synergy there already.
Sorry to interrupt you, James. It was one thing I think that was really cool there is MIBR abused the nature of Inferno, because by playing an incredibly slow round, they forced Liquid to gamble towards one bomb side or the other. And Liquid decided that it would be B, and there was no way to confirm that information for them. They just had to hope that they would be right.
MIBR now trying to capitalize on the damage they've done to Liquid's money. Round becoming less and less dangerous as less Liquid players remain. The bomb's in a very safe position at present, and they're quite content. They've got plenty of time for these eliminations. Nafly will come to have a closer look at the emissions from the chimney in the apartments. But the bomb is rotating towards B. So, MIBR, they've broken the money. And again, that one AK buy that you pointed out, Dan, was crucial in putting Liquid in this situation. Again, I think it was 3 frags they got in that particular round, and that's almost $20,000 taken away.
Yes, a really big deal. And I mean, that's one of the differences between the super top level of team, the top flight CS versus some of the lower levels, because you're going to get these rounds where they always understand that every single round there's an opportunity to keep pressure on the opponent's economy. And it's a very fine line, because you do not want to hurt your economy to the degree that you can't have a proper buy round and really execute strong strategies. So instead, you have to work with very little. But these professionals in their individual level is so good, and their tactics are so strong that they're able to always keep that pressure on. And you never will feel too comfortable when you're playing against them. And MIBR have done a really good job so far, and I think the way that they understand Inferno. We're seeing a very slow pace, and then that is for a specific reason. Do not underestimate MIBR. It is hard to underestimate them, isn't it, James? You got Fur, Fallen, Cold, Stewie, Tarek.
Yeah, I know, and I feel like they can mesh together. I think it's going to be very interesting to watch their journey. There's too much skill to write them off, definitely speaking. A big question will be roles, but we will see. Roles and happiness, because you can have success, but if you're not getting all the frags, then who knows? Can be trouble in paradise. No paradise for Taco at the moment, currently 1-4-7.
Ouch.
So he's not having a great time of things. And as the CT setup keeps changing around the A site, now they've got Taco and Twist around that short position, although Twist will go back and forth, keeping an eye on the balcony. All rifles here for Team Liquid, no snipers in this round. They lie in wait for MIBR top mid.
That's a perfect flash, almost saved Tarek, and Twist will get both. There's no punish for Twist, the triple comes in, and it's Fallen and Stewie to try to save this, but maybe too much damage has been done. However, as you just mentioned, though, it's hard to ever count out these players, although rotation is beginning to come in, and Stewie's going to have to worry about a backstab very soon. He's trying to do that. The smoke on Moto will help him out in that sense, give him some cover, but getting tagged there from the pit position. Twist looking for that ace almost. Fallen is the only one that remains. Oh, there it comes. Nitro will find him, and there's no escape. So a quick balcony burst to really switch up the pace from MIBR, but Team Liquid are actually ready for that switch up of pace.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, because it's not very often you'll see those plays on a buy round completely blind, but there's distraction for Twist to clean up after being able to see again. So the execute works well, but Twist has such a weird angle. You could see MIBR looking for him in all the usual spots. So if you play that round out 4 or 5 times, I think MIBR will often get a lot further than they did, just because they couldn't find Twist literally underneath one of the players there. 4 players for Liquid start towards B bomb side. They are very expectant, but look at MIBR. They're going back for what looks like the exact same play more or less as before. Fallen deploying the grenades, and there is the balcony burst immediately from MIBR. So these are two very unexpected rounds, and this time they've got position at the very least.
Yeah, this is actually the worst case scenario for Team Liquid. And this is a great abuse of timing once again. And the bomb will go down in this 5v4, and this is, of course, a site that is much harder to retake, or can be much harder to retake when the Ts are all set up like this. They've got grenades, they've had time to get into position. It's very, very difficult when that is the case, and you can see that Team Liquid will just save. And this is awesome to see from MIBR, to understand that a burst there would be good. Because let's not forget, one thing about Team Liquid, if you've been really paying attention to their CT side so far, Team Liquid's opening on every single round has been different. It's very difficult to predict what they are actually doing. And so MIBR needed to be a bit fortunate there, and if the balcony burst, let's say there was 2 or 3 players on the quad side, they would just have to try to frag out there and just say, you know what, the risk is not always going to pay off, but that round when Team Liquid decides to go really hard on Banana, like 3 players pressure, that timing is going to be devastating.
I remember there was this poker player who was a banker, and he used to play, like, bring millions of dollars to the table and play against Phil Ivey and those kind of guys. And he had this watch designed that would give him a very small electric shock at random timings, and that's when he would choose to play his hand, so he had no tell. And I feel like that's partly what Liquid are doing here. They're changing their identity every round, so MIBR it's harder to counter-strat them. But MIBR are one of the great teams to watch in terms of mind games in general, like playing that balcony burst strat with pretty fast timing as well, and then doing the exact same thing the next round, because that's the last thing you'll expect, and that gives them another round on the board. Liquid, though, they did save with most of their players, and they're definitely in for a fight in this one, MIBR. 4 players now for Team Liquid around the A site, and again, it's a completely different configuration. We've got Taco in the corner, Eleague able to support him, so we've got some kind of bait set up over there. Naf in the pit now, who's been... well, Nitro was on Arch, and now he's towards the B bomb site. So this is all change here for Team Liquid.
Scully position for Taco should be effective if a flash comes in at the right timing, but sometimes that can be difficult. And again, MIBR playing really slow rounds is quite... If you do it properly on this map, it does force the CTs to guess. And that is just a horrible situation. And we're going to see Nitro, they're going to try to push him back. 35 seconds left, and they've left 1 player top mid. So they are pretty committed here to this B bomb side. There's no time to really go back. So Fer is going to try to cut off rotation and provide some lurking and make sure that these B players do not have support.
Nitro blind, gets a kill anyway. He has a Eleague there. Liquid not committing to the rotation just yet, but there are players on the site. Eleague down low now, and we see Taco start to rotate. Fer is still at the top of mid, and he will hear this rotation. Probably going to flank these C2, so we'll keep an eye out for that on the radar. All the Liquid players alive. Fer still not moving, and he needs to get escapes on because it is a 5 versus 3 on the B bomb site. Now you can see him on the radar start to move behind these players, but Nafly's looking for it.
Yeah, it would be incredible if Naf would be able to stop that, but it looks like they've given up on that. Maybe assuming that he's gone towards Banana. And this is looking really awkward now for Team Liquid. They're going to go into the spray. Cold Zero in the pool position, doing a lot of damage. Will eventually get taken down, but you can see the flank starting to work. Fer gets a pick off onto Nitro. Taco alone, and they will sandwich him as he tries to defuse. And Fer's timing there, and again, this is another thing about top level CS, something that you might not see in the lower level, and it's not because the way they play at the lower levels is incorrect. It's just because, again, Team Liquid, they expect the flank, and they're going to be so good at dealing with like a player cutting off rotation that Fer has to go an extra mile to guarantee his play.
The SK squad, if you will, or should I say just the Brazilian contingent, are so good, be it retakes or otherwise, at having particular plays in particular positions, understand the later timing while the rest of their teammate put in work. They're very good with that. Mirage retakes on A, going through the crawl space. As a good example. Liquid now back on the pistols. MIBR have won 5 of the last 6 rounds. That does not bode well for Team Liquid here on the CT side. Plenty of rounds to fight for. And MIBR are moving into the final 2 players. Well, not final 2 players, because Naf is towards the B-bomb site. But again, they've got plenty of time on the clock, plenty of utility, Molotov's flashbangs, so it should be a formality, but maybe it won't be. Twist has the bomb on short now.
That's a good start. Can he get another one? Ooh, Twist gets one more. Fer was tagged by the work of Nitro on the bomb site with that CZ. The bomb's in a forward position, and Twist can see it. He's providing a big problem at this point with this Deagle, able to just peek whenever he wants. They have Molotovs, they have a couple smokes, they've got flashbangs. There is utility to deal with Twists if they want to go and collect the bomb, and they are committed towards A. Naf with the USP. Able to take down Stewie towards our side. This is getting more and more awkward. Twist! What a beautiful round from him. 4 frags, holding down that pit position like a hero. And MIBR, they just never got that utility off.
That's a weird one. With the time on the clock, I mean, we have complete information, but they could have smoked in front of the bomb, picked it up, waited for the bomb to dissipate, and then continue with wherever they wanted to go. But that's only one of many things you could do in that situation. So there's a much-needed round for Team Liquid, much-needed round. And MIBR's money is not amazing. They've got barely anything left in the hole after the buy for this round. So this could even end up in a 10-5 half based off the back of that Deagle. Yes. Who knows?
It was ridiculous. And it's absolutely what they needed. And perhaps in some respects, what they deserved. Perhaps that is up to all of you watching instead to decide. But Team Liquid and MIBR both been playing very well. This is the impressive thing for me about this game so far, is that I'm looking at Liquid and how they're playing their CT side. And we know Liquid have amazing CT sides, and they are playing at a level that is tip-top. And MIBR are able to do so much damage to a team that's playing it incredibly correct. It is beautiful to watch these teams in action. And as you mentioned, James, this is such a critical round now to decide who will come away with, or well, whether Liquid will get a strong half or whether MIBR will have a very competitive one. And they're going to go into this A bomb site with a faster timing, but they're already lights one man.
Yeah, they're still stuck in the corner of the choke point. Not quite going to the point of no return just yet, but here they come streaming in now into the crossfire of these C teams. You see Twist with a great angle for a 2K. One player on the side, they're looking for more engagements here. They've got 35 seconds, so the bomb plant pressure is not there just yet, but 1 versus 4 for Tarek. He won't last very long. That Deagle round could change the entire landscape of this game of Inferno, honestly. There's no money, there's no plant for MIBR. They've got $2,000 on most players now. And
what a hero Twist is. You know, he's obviously, he was the man that was able to make those Deagle frags happen. And it's by just being an anchor of this A bomb site, by playing that pit position. And again, if you just watched how the passage of play went right at the end of that previous round, you see that he had 3 frags available to him on the spray down, but he only goes for the 2 frags. He keeps the tightest angle and just makes it so that he is untradeable. He creates a situation where it's so guaranteed because he's not thirsty for that 3rd kill, which he probably could have gotten, but he wanted to instead focus on the team play.
I mean, it might be a bit too early to say it, but like, that could send him in a direction of winning this map compared to the momentum MIBR are having. Of course, like if they go 10-5 and win the pistol, then that is the round. MIBR, speaking of pistols, they have nothing other than, at this point, how the mighty have fallen.
Yep, again, both teams have been playing really well. So this is, like, whatever happens, this is a joy to watch. I don't think, as you mentioned, you can never really count MIBR out, but it is cool to see, you know, Liquid sort of hitting their groove. And I think both teams have had that fortunate moment where they were right on a gamble, or had just a fortunate series of engagements. But it will be a play into the B bomb site. There's not too much here for MIBR. No armor, no grenades, just some deagles and blocks. Not the ideal weapons to take the bomb site, but they'll actually manage to get a kill and a bomb plant. Fallen will not be able to escape, and the bomb will be defused. But again, killing a bomb plant, that's actually a pretty damn good result, all things considered, and leading into the last round, it will be helpful.
That is a much needed bomb plant. It's a lot more than helpful. It's necessary. He's got some serious elbow tear going on.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is, though. Well then, Monsieur Twist, with a change in fortune for Team Liquid, who now go double sniper rifle for the last round of the first half. Fallen is AWP and Naked for round number 15. See what he's able to do. Well, this has been a slower run from MIBR. I mean, they're so capable with all their players of getting picked at this point. Oh, Taco, Savage, no respect, but he falls to the flames. Liquid have control of the banana position for the time being, so it's not so easy for MIBR to try to capitalize off this quickly. Twist having a look now. Maybe he will hold the off angle. Learn this angle in apartments. It's a good one, where you can hold short and a push in out of apartments at the same time. But you are susceptible to flashbangs, so got to be careful.
I do really like how Liquids use the double AWPs as a mix-up, as opposed to some teams that use it as a standard. And one of the reasons that is very strong is because you generally don't want to go in towards the AWP if you can avoid it. And if you know it's in one location, it kind of changes how you're going to react to the other areas of the map. And to then suddenly just bring it out in 2 spots can be the difference between a free kill or not a free kill for the CTs. So I like that dynamic that Liquid have in their play. They are trying to play the most unsolvable CT side, which is awesome. It's very difficult to do, but a must against the likes of MIBR. And this 4v4, once again, we see the Brazilian core and 2x Cloud9 players looking to run the clock down, and they're going to explode onto Arch, and it might be a success. That's a good first open.
Nitro pushing, expecting a split, but it's going to be a wrap, in fact. And Nafly is going to be isolated. How does he deal with all these players? He's starting to push down Banana as well, so they understand they're compromised from one side, they must push in the other. The rotation coming in from mid, Fallen focusing, but he gets a pick onto Nafly before Nitro can do anything. And that's such an important frag, because look at the time on the clock. Who knows if he picked off a bomb carrier, if Fallen doesn't take him out, that leaves it in a 2 versus 3. MIBR know where they're coming from. There's a pre-fire, and Stewie will finish things off. So 9-6 will be the score at the end of the first half. And now it will be MIBR's turn to defend.
It's actually so incredible that Nitro at the end there, when he was trying to backstab Fallen, he was trying to shoot his CZ to distract Fallen for when Naf peeked on Banana, and it was just too slow. It was very close. And as you mentioned, James, that could have been the difference, like half a second. And this is a really close one. It's so hard to know what to expect from MIBR. That was I actually thought their T side was pretty damn good. They had a lot of depth to it, and the sort of fundamentals that underlying that, like some of the shenanigans they were running was really good. Like, I liked how they played it very, very slow. They created a lot of insurance in that way that, they just force Liquid to play passively, force Liquid to gamble, and that is a very uncomfortable position for the CTs. And now we're going to go into a CT side of MIBR, and where do you think that is going to, who will that favor for you, James? It's a team that, again, hasn't had the time to develop their map pool yet.
I don't know quite what to expect. I mean, in terms of roles, are people going to be happy on CT sides? And I think that will vary on map, where you have less freedom to do an aggression on certain maps might be more depressing than others. So I think that Liquid are in a good spot to capitalize on their round advantage if they're able to win the pistol. Yeah, it's going to be curious. I think we might see some aggressive plays from Fallen if they deem it necessary. MIBR. I mean, they are an active team, so what I like about them is that they will, if they think it's necessary to do something or they have a window to do something, then they're not afraid to do that. So we can see a variation in levels of aggression or passive play. And you never know, like in the middle of a round, what they're capable of doing. So I expect MIBR to be very proactive here and there, if you know what I mean. I'm not trying to be vague. Like I think if they feel like they can do something and affect or have some kind of impact and take the game away from Liquid, I think they will do that. And that's something that Liquid need to look out for. Like where some teams might try to do, okay, let's do this at the beginning of a round. I think it can happen at any time for MIBR.
All starts with that solid pistol, and again, it's very difficult on the CT side. You want to pick off a player before they arrive onto a bomb site, but it's very risky to do that. And so sometimes you see teams try to do it, and then they can just lose the round because 2 people get headshot at the start, and then they can't defend, or you see them play too passively, and then the Glocks have free reign and get to burst on you in very awkward positions. There's not a great solution on the CT side of Inferno on the pistol, and they are Team Liquid are going to assault the B bomb side. They've picked this perfectly. Fallen is alone. He's playing in front of the smoke. He gets 2 somehow. That is incredible.
That's a lot more than you could ask for in that situation, and he makes it much easier for MIBR. Fer is on a slow flank. There's another one for Tariq. Problems here for Team Liquid now. 2 versus 4 with Glocks. Fer still on a super slow flank, the bottom of Banana, so the crossfire isn't there just yet. And with Eleague focusing on CT, you know, Twist is trying to do multiple jobs at the moment. This is not going to be easy for them. coldzera in the reds, letting his teammates catch up and do some more. But there is a almost inevitable round here for MIBR. They win the pistol, so we're probably looking at a 9-9 scoreline. The bomb is planted for Liquid. I don't think they'll be going for that surprise force buy in the next round. So MIBR have a chance to equal the score now.
And that was, obviously MIBR got fortunate with Tariq's pick off, but Fallen's push here is just the recognition that he's thinking, okay, we stacked the A side of the map. We're going to be in a horrible spot that's so disadvantaged that my team is probably going to lose the round unless I get some kills. So he has to take the risk. And he gets fortunate, and he's able to do a lot of damage. And that is, Counter-Strike's about knowing what risks to take, and you're not always going to be correct or successful, but you got to know which ones are the good ones. And Fallen picked a pretty good one there, and this is exactly what they needed. And they're already starting things off by taking Banana away. And I love teams that are very active around Banana.
Liquid with the pistols. A deagle here, a deagle there. Not the force buy we saw from MIBR. But again, they are a more disciplined team, so I think what I was trying to say in 1,000 words about MIBR is that I think we will see a stylistic difference in the CT side from MIBR, where Liquid are focusing on not being countered by having a different formation pretty much every round. I think MIBR are capable of more active plays. They won't necessarily have so much disciplined structure.
Yeah, they
may take more liberties.
Yeah, they need to mid-round, don't they? They need to get an early pick-off, and they need to make it really uncomfortable. They can't allow Liquid to just run drills.
Alicia's 2 deeds.
He's a beast.
And now there are big problems. What is going on in this round? 3K for Eleague. He's got an M4 now. The StarCraft aim stealing around from MIBR. There's no Kevlar on these players. That's the only thing going. Eleague with another one.
He's not happy that Twist got that 4K early. He's like...
He's not even smiling. What's going on? What's going on? Oh, the 180. I told you, man. That's StarCraft aim.
That is so awesome. Yeah, Eleague is one of the players who has a very fast sensitivity. And I think that's, something that is always good to sort of recognize, because there's a lot of people that sort of think by default that to have good aim, you have to have a slow sensitivity. It's just not true. It's all about mouse control and your setup, like your style, size of your hand, the type of grip that you use. It is all linked together, and it's a complex formula. It works out for Eleague for sure, and the scout comes out for them. Not going to find anything though, and neither is Tariq, it would seem. He will be the victim of Taco's.
He found something. He found them bullets.
Yes.
That's what he found. He found some holes in his chest.
This is a great result for Liquid, isn't it, so far?
This is huge. It's another big opportunity. Some people argue that it's better than winning a pistol round to win a second round versus the CT side.
Yep.
Because it absolutely ruins their economy. Forces them to go for a force buy, put them in a crap situation for multiple rounds. That's a lovely shot. Another one for the highlight reel for Fallen. But can he do more? He's behind a smoke grenade at the moment. Does he commit here? He goes for it, he gambles. It's the only way to win the round, most likely, being in that position in a scout. He's not afraid to put his team in a position to succeed, but doesn't seem likely on this occasion. Fer is miles away, and coldzera is on his bicycle as well. They can try to take these weapons into the next round, put themselves in a better starting situation, and maybe they can do something. But Team Liquid firmly in the driving seat, and they're pressing the ejector on all the passengers of MIBR.
Yeah, I like this round just because when you're in these spots and you're up against a scout and some deagles and CZs, it can actually feel very scary. It's a round which has a lot of pressure because you're just so afraid of losing it. You know that you know that it can happen, and if it does happen, you're in a horrible position. So there's almost like more pressure in rounds like this, and it's like the reverse thing for the guys with pistols. They don't.
Oh boy,
that's very nice.
That's what you get for spraying like you're at an Arabian wedding.
But either way, Team Liquid, they see the scout and they're like, you know what, we're just going to decisively move into the A site or the B site, and that's it. So a lot of teams that get scared, and Team Liquid very decisive. Again, decisive, disciplined. We're probably going to be repeating that a lot because it is one of the reasons why Team Liquid has success.
Well, this is a nothing round for MIBR. See what happens, Liquid, when you stray away from discipline, start shooting at the sky. You lose, what, $5,000–6,000 there, perhaps more. Again, that can play a part. That can play a part in the story to come in the latter rounds. It can add a chapter. Only time will tell. But this is should be a non-round for MIBR.
$7,400, James. Just did the mathematizing.
In the bin.
Yep, it's all gone. I mean, that's just 2 AKs and 2 Kevlar helmets, so.
Well, one had a Mac 10.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's less.
Oh, okay. So it's just Dan math,
Yeah,
as expected.
I thought one of them had they both had AKs. Never mind. Anyway, it's a great pickup, and MIBR just looking to keep pressure on the economy of Team Liquid. Just make it really awkward for them as much as they can. Obviously, there's not too much to work with. Cole does have a Deagle and Kevlar. Nice attempt there coming in from MIBR, but it is, again, mostly a hopeless round. And that's okay, because their buy is coming up next round, and that's the round that's going to define how the rest of this goes, because they should have cash for an AWP and for utility and so on. And
AK's hunting pistols, I'm not a fan. You can hold position, try and stay together, but Eleague is pretty deep. He's a man who's confident in himself, but he's got 5 HP now, so that could have been an AK loft, and then if he loses that AK, who knows what can happen if the CTs pick it up. The Team Liquid will feel compelled to chase that AK, and then they might lose more. But what do I know? Eleague will kill both of them.
There's no AWP money, I think, actually, from MIBR. I don't think they have enough to get north here. Indeed. No one has quite enough money. So, yeah. So this is what worries me sometimes when you're in these spots, because it is one of those, the nature of a force buy, because on the top level you do want to do the force buy because your players are so good, you can always find ways to do damage, but this is the sacrifice that you make, the compromise is that you don't have the AWP or as much utility as you want.
Yeah, and that's partly why, I suppose, comes into the argument of why it can be better to win the round after the pistol if you are the T side. And it wasn't even a full buy from Team Liquid, so they got bonus money out of it as well. It was just a Deagle causing absolute havoc. Liquid making a play in the banana position at the moment. There's a smoke towards the car, so they'll likely expend utility, clearing out the sandbag position and so on. Eleague holding a pop flash. If anybody's holding an angle on the corner, they will be blind. Taco keeping them honest in the mid position for the time being. And Fur makes his way towards the speedway. Dewey is going for aggression. Again, this is the kind of thing I was talking about from MIBR, but it doesn't work out on this occasion. Gambling through the smoke, but Twist will trade the kill before Fallen can start shooting again. And now MIBR are basically in safe territory.
Yeah, we're really cautious here. I mean, it's okay to lose 3, but 2 guns, if they lose that, it can be a big difference. And actually, that said, so it will be their 4th round loss in a row. Everyone is broke, which means that they're going to have $2,900 in addition to what you see there. So it is going to be a safe round. But with the 2 rifles, they can try to do some damage. There's lots of options and different theories as to how you can play that round. Obviously, they will be able to 4-buy in the following rounds. So they can try to win the round in a variety of ways, or try to create a lot of damage with the 2 M4s and whatever they buy around those M4s. But I would hope to see them not invest heavily, just because I really do want to see those AKs out. Sorry, the AWPs out. And but they can afford to get CZ, maybe a Kevlar here or there. But that's kind of it, I think.
Man like Twist. Definitely turn the fortunes. I'd like to see him try that in real life. I wouldn't, actually, because he'd probably receive considerable injuries. 23 for 8. Avoid twist. Game avoid twist now. Well, I actually guess I can't. They're on the CT side. It's too late for that.
He's coming for you.
This is a dangerous buy from MIBR, it must be said. Obviously, they are on eco, but the CZs, Kevlar, plenty of smoke grenades as well. I'm sure they will try to play that smoke game. I see Fallen was considering deploying his smoke for a second, but he'll hold on to it. He's trying to avoid being baited. Obviously, Team Liquid are trying to get MIBR to exhaust their utility early, but they're still holding on to all 5 grenades. Smoke grenades, that is, with a minute 20 on the clock. This is dangerous for Team Liquid, and they have no idea how much.
So we'll have to see whether they have good protocols set up for a round such as this, because it has been somewhat commonplace in the last year or so that CTs will try to mess you up with smokes.
Dan, there's 1 minute on the clock, and they still have 5 smoke grenades. This is unprecedented.
However, there are ways around it for Team Liquid, but they have to be very decisive, and they can't let the smokes instill too much fear. That's when it gets you, is when the smokes instill too much fear, and you're not brave enough to flash through them, to run a play, and you want to just wait them out. They cannot be doing that. If they recognize that, as you say, there were 5 smokes at a minute mark, and they should realize that. They're professionals, they're counting the smoke grenades. They have to know that they've got to just go for it right now.
Tarek's still got one on short.
They have to go for it.
There's 20 seconds left. Why hasn't he thrown it yet? Get it out there, man. He's still holding on to it. There we go. Out it comes. And there are 12 seconds on the clock and no one has gone down yet. This is absolute carnage. 8 seconds. Look at the clock. The clock is red. It's not supposed to be red in this situation. Fur is just waiting there all day. This is what I'm talking about. That is the round 1. 3 players surviving. So many frags at MIBR. Team Liquid's choices taken away. And I don't even know if you can blame Team Liquid for that, because I feel like against most teams, they're going to deploy those grenades much faster when you see the grenades coming up towards top banana, the Molotovs and so on. But MIBR understand that they're on some next level chess. Yeah. It's 25D chess. So they know that Liquid are trying to exhaust their utility, so they don't bite. They hold it for ages.
And this is the thing about rounds like that, is that you don't, as a T side, you don't know. You have no idea if they have 5 smokes. You may think that they just may have 2 or 3, but that's the problem. You have to make the assumptions. You have to have protocols in place when you start seeing smokes in rounds like that. It's just got to be the thing. But that's something we can talk about later. It's something for them to review. But they're still 13-8. They still have a good economy behind them to keep hammering at MIBR. In fact, they have at least 2, 3 or more, 4 buys left. So
can we just also mention what massive opportunity MIBR have just bought for themselves with $300 grenades?
Yeah.
You've got cold on the AWP now. They keep Liquid off 14 rounds. That is a huge win for them if they can capitalize on it.
Yeah, it's a really good point. And this will be really interesting as well, because we'll get to see or gain some insight into how MIBR are going to be playing this CT side. And obviously, seeing Cold pick up the AWP straight away, it's a team that there's so much skill with the AWP. Basically, everybody can AWP to an incredible level, and they will have their own very unique styles. So that's a lot of fun. But we'll see how Liquid can deal with this. They're going to start working on this top mid control. Banana is something that MIBR might investigate fairly soon because of the clock. They need to confirm what's going on. They haven't rotated an additional player towards the A side of the map, and Liquid are just going for it. They're not even going to bother with Arch. They're going for the full push through the quad position, and it might just work. That's a great start.
Has he been detected in the pit position? He hasn't fired a bullet just yet, but they know they don't have anybody in there, so they have to assume that somebody could be there. There's a flashbang from a teammate. He spots one in the corner, looking for the trade fraggers. Sends one in a red, but not dead. Man advantage for Liquid. 3 players all coming from the arch position. Awkward frags for them, but coldzera and Fallen will get 1 each. More flashes, and how are they doing this all from the same area? Nitro's in the corner. Oh, that's a massive frag for him. coldzera's a tight one. Dancing. Jack in the box. Who's got the hammer, though? He can't even see coldzera's head. He's got the angle, but he doesn't have the AK-47. That's a crazy clutch from Liquid.
2 points of health. It could barely have come any closer than that. That is incredible if you consider the repercussions of this. Instead of MIBR being able to continue hammering at Liquid and sort of working away at their lead and removing the deficit, now we're in a spot where Team Liquid, if they win this round, where MIBR are just spending everything, that should be the map. That should be map 1. And what an incredible amount of nerve to hold. You're up against the likes of coldzera and you know, just trying to do the dance around the box. That is...
I'm amazed that MIBR got that far, considering they had 3 players all next to each other coming out of library or arch position. That's mad. But Liquid, once again, put themselves in a strong position. Double AWPs, and there's the first hello. Fallen waving to Twist. 4 players on A for MIBR. And Stewie has a second sniper on the coffins of B. Fur making his way over there with a flashbang and a CZ. That is the situation MIBR are in right now.
And just look at the way that MIBR are trying to use the orbs, like with Fallen, just trying to play contact, trying to take risks. Deep peek on mid, that is risky business, but they know that they have to take some big risks here, and they can fall back on their incredible skill to try to give them some security within those risks. And Liquid, they are taking none of this for granted. They're going to push straight into that A site. Beautiful start. Fallen will get a frag, but right now they are locked off from the bomb site. Big kill from Nitro to ease their way into that site.
Now Fallen has a gap in the smoke. If he knows no one has crossed to the pit just yet, that is a lot of information, very important information for his team. But there is a re-smoke, and now they move into the unknown. And it seems like they're in safe territory even before Fur gets picked off there. Stewie and Fallen moving away with the AWPs. That's game point for Team Liquid. Nitro catching up with Twist now, 22 for 12.
I have to say, if this game finishes 16-8, it will be one of my most favorite 16-8s I would ever have seen, because the score really doesn't represent the quality of the game whatsoever. Like, these have been really interesting rounds from both teams repeatedly, and great, entertaining displays of skill at the same time. So this has been a joy so far, and yeah, it just excites me to see more, because MIBR, they want to do cheeky stuff. They want to try to be very sneaky, and these 2 AWPs could win them this round.
What are they going to have around these AWPs? Fallen, I think, has dropped a UMP for someone, or... Okay, I guess it was the MP9 on Fur then.
And Stewie's on the AWP now instead of Fallen. So that, again, they can just... The AWP can change so many hands in this team, and it's just incredibly scary no matter what.
Quick exchange of frags towards the A site, and there's a smoke top mid. Now Fallen is making his way over. Stewie, just as he was on Cloud9, will be entrusted with the B bomb site on his lonesome, just like in the major. Oh, he's missed a shot though. There is a flashbang, but he can retreat. But how do they retake? Liquid are committing to this. They've got 3 of the 4 players, and now Attacker's going to have an eye on mid, where First starting to move down faster in previous rounds, and he might pay for it. See him there. On old Inferno, ironically, he would have seen Taco on the radar because there was a weird bug there. But here we go. Gets taken down by Eleague, and is this the end of the road on Inferno for MIBR?
Yeah, and that was just another good display of just team play. Okay, you know, you got a guy sitting in the underpass, and he can just give the information. And now the guy on Taco, he just knows someone's coming. And it's just, I just love the Team Liquid's, the way that they're able to play with the team. But hang on a moment, what on earth just happened? Stewie finally pick up on the bomb. There's another one. This is why Stewie is so dangerous. Can he do this? The AWP's out. He will get fragged behind the coffins, though. But they still need to collect the bomb. There is still time for coldzera to find a way to win this round and keep MIBR in Inferno.
They had no idea where Cold was, but it won't matter now because Eleague will rip his face off. 16-8 for Team Liquid. A very back-and-forth game of Inferno, but it is the horsey horse which takes it over the line.
This was so much fun to watch. Honestly, the level with these 2 teams, the mind games, the level, the extra layers of how they play Counter-Strike is just a joy to watch. And also, I think it's so rewarding having seen the growth of Team Liquid over time. And it's going to be, I'm sure, very encouraging for Zeus, who is watching from afar for once, to see his lads start off well, 16-8. But it is time to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon with the next map, or rather the desk.
Let's go, boys.
Let's go, boys.
Plate mark, yes. Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
They eventually get taken down, but you can see the flank starting to work. Ferg gets a pick off onto Nitro. Taco alone, and they will sandwich him.
Very well played, guys. Very well. Good flank, good kills for Ferg. Good job, guys.
He can't even see coldzera's head. He's got the angle, but he doesn't have the AK-47. That's a crazy clutch from Liquid.
Nice! Good job.
Oh my god, that was insane.
Ever wonder where Eleague get their gaming chairs? Go to needforseat.com to learn more. Max Novick, the official chair of Eleague. Our first map of our second series for our first day here for the Eleague premiere of 2018 does conclude, and we do get to see our analyst predictions for once actually ring true. Congratulations, gents.
Thanks. I feel really good about that. Especially because I was able to get so much analysis into my prediction.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It was so to the point. I
Right.
guess.
Listen, Jason, you know I like you. That's why I'm looking out for you. If you talk too much, you're probably gonna, lose the plot or something. You just said, yes, I think Liquid's gonna win. Liquid won, and why do you complain all the time?
Listen,
Happy, man.
Yanko, these highlights only go on for like 15 seconds. You can fit it all in that time.
No.
No, this was a great game, and honestly, I think this matchup is actually closer. I know a lot of us, except for Bardolph, picked Team Liquid today, but I do think there's going to be a nice honeymoon period with this MIBR team. But I'll tell you right now, outside they're talking about two things. They're talking about Twist with the Deagle 4K, and they're talking about Eleague with the Deagle 4K in two different halves, and those two rounds just changed the trajectory of this whole map.
I want to know what's in Twist's chewing gum, because ever since he's been popping that in his mouth pre-game, he has been fragging. Close to 30 for him in a quick game.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously had an insane game, and yes, that round was probably the most impactful one with the Deagle, but he had a couple of really good rounds. He's just one of the best players, really, in the world in playing that pit position, on the CT side. It just allows Liquid to, do so much more, to take a bit of risks on other parts of the map, because they can always rely on him to at least get one or even 2 kills and buy time for the rest of the team to rotate in.
An interesting stat to add to that Nitro one you can see there is also that he took part in 7 opening duels and he didn't lose a single one. 100% success rate.
This team does jump up a level when Nitro is having very good games, because he is one of those guys as well that can have impact. When he's on the rifle, the openings are very important for him, and then obviously as a guy who's picking up the op primarily for Team Liquid, even though he's not a primary opper, that's going to go very, very well if you're winning some op duels to pick one player off just to lighten the load. So him having a good game usually spells good things for Team Liquid as well.
Yeah, and I mean, as a whole, Yanko, your expectations for Team Liquid were higher than that of MIBR. Did you get what you were bargaining for? Have you got a team that can compete here at Eleague?
Yeah, I think so. I think, I picked Team Liquid to win the series, but not by a massive margin. I would make them like 60-40 favorites, really, because you can see with MIBR still, even with little time to practice with Tariq, they still had a couple of strats. I think even the pistol round to open up the game was actually pretty cool from them. Hit very great timing as the smoke for, Minipit was fading. That's when they actually pushed almost through it. A pop flash came in and they took over the site. I was surprised they lost that round in the afterplan. So some cool things for them, but you can also see sometimes maybe miscommunication or a lack of coordination to allow, for example, Twist to have that, Deagle round by dropping the bomb in quad.
Are there still some easy to identify holes in that MIBR roster? I mean, we know they're going to be there. They haven't had any time to practice. But was it really just Liquid looking strong, or have you got some criticisms towards that MIBR roster?
I think they really struggled, especially on their defensive side, with the kind of fast pace that Liquid came out with. And I think one thing they're going to have to work on eventually is obviously CT sides are going to be something with the coordination that they need to talk over with some theory crafting when they get more time. But you do need to be able to find ways to win those low econ rounds, whether you have SMGs, whether you have like M4 with no nades. You could see one of the big strengths that this Team Liquid team has had as they've kind of risen is the fact that they can win those Deagle rounds. They can win the 4-spy rounds with just pistols. SK needs to get back to that, because they used to be able to do the same thing. And now, MIBR.
You did it.
I did do it. It's the first time. I've been great at it. I wasn't the first. I won't be the last, I'm sure. But MIBR does need to get back to that point where they can, be a danger in those rounds. You just have to be able to win those in today's Counter-Strike.
You certainly do, and you also get a rare opportunity to once again get that broken down by Yanko. I know you've got to open it up on Shadow GG. Let's go ahead and get technical, powered by Alien.
Yeah, so this is an example of, we talked about it thousands of times, Alex, on Death, that, dynamic CT side and mid-round aggression and all of that stuff. So this is a pretty straightforward round. First real gun round for MIBR. You see they have a lot of utility. A lot of it is being used early by both teams in Banana. I'm going to fast forward a little bit here to the crucial moment really in this round. You can see how Liquid basically made a read. They leave Naf alone in a passive position. They're basically playing retake B and they have 4 players on A. But even with this good read, things are still not as clear-cut for Team Liquid, and they do a great job here as they see the utility flying over. They make the call for Eleague to push out after that flash and try to take a peek, get some information, and he manages to get a kill. And this is very important because now they know that they're coming. They move around. You can see that there's no utility left for MIBR, and really that puts them in a very tough spot with time running out as well. You can see it's only 15 seconds left. Team Liquid wins this round, and there's another round later on in this game where they don't do this exact same thing. You can see it's after MIBR won their first gun round. It's a reset round, obviously super important, and they don't have that information. Now they're gambling playing 3B, but they have no info whether people are in Banana or not. You know, Stewie fakes with 1 smoke basically, and they're pushing towards A. And even though they start moving, it's already too late because you can see where the MIBR players at. Even Twist, who had a magnificent game, he couldn't hold this by himself. And this is where MIBR avoids the reset really, and you can see how playing for that information, being aggressive later on in the round, mid-round, can really make or break a round for you.
And whether or not these are transferable skills as well. Of course, heading into our next map. We don't have buckets of time to talk about it, but we are heading into Cash next, Jason. And I throw the ball over into your court to set the scene. Help us understand how this one goes down.
Well, I mean, just touching on what Yenko just said, and you can bring it to Cash, is arguably it's even more important that you have that information. You're more proactive across the map because this is not an easy map as the CT side to read what's coming, especially if you lose mid control. You know, we always say you need to take control of something elsewhere because you just simply need to know what's coming next and you need to be proactive. And it was good to see Liquid do that. For MIBR, I know just from talking to these players, sometimes behind the scenes, this is a map where they usually don't like to pick or play it because they say it's very 50-50 for them. They say they've shown up on it and they've played games where they think they can beat the best in the world on Cash, and they show up and they play games where they feel like they can't beat anyone in the top 15 on this map. So, I mean, for them, they've got to be looking at this, and it's almost worrying as this is kind of like the winning map for Team Liquid as flipping a coin in a certain way.
I mean, Yenko, when you often find yourself talking about vetoes, I don't think I've ever heard you say MIBR are going to be picking Cash.
Yeah, maybe a little bit very early on, but it's just one of those maps that there's actually very few teams in general who would, pick it in the first phase. Because it can be very random at times, it's always dynamic. It's a lot of give and take going on, as Jason pointed out, whether you're going to fight for mid, you can't hold it the whole round if you're on the CT side, which means you need to be maybe aggressive towards A main, B, all of those things, and it's very difficult to make those good reads all the time.
And we're looking forward to seeing how Tarek's debut continues to go for MIBR as they venture into Cash. And talk of Tarek, not too long ago, he was in the Boston Major and indeed lifting a trophy. If you're interested of catching their entire story at 12 p.m. Eastern on Friday, that's July 27th, all 5 episodes of The Road to the Boston Major. It's a fantastic documentary. You may not have seen it or heard about it, but you have to be there if you want to catch it. So be sure to tune in and set it in your diary, set the alarm, whatever you have to do. July 27th at 12 p.m. Eastern. You can catch that on Twitch exclusively. For that, though, we take a break, and when we come back, we'll see MIBR Team Liquid on map 2.
kill, brilliant play. Somehow Naf does it. Again, he gets the headshot right through. Nitro with the save.
Absolutely ridiculous comeback from Team Liquid. Welcome back to the Boost Mobile casting coupe. We are in a 3-door car, it seems. I don't know how I feel about this coupe thing going on. We need to have a protest about this. Dan?
I don't like the connotations of a coupe in any sense.
No. Be it a car or a bird cage
of any,
thing.
Any description.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I think it's the meaning, James. I feel the means.
I don't know what to say about it.
I feel lessened as a human.
Team Liquid must be feeling good after that first map. And it seems that Zeus is very happy about that one indeed. No surprise. Solid scoreline for them. Can they take it in 2, Dan?
Yeah, I think absolutely they can. Obviously, this is a fantastic map for the likes of MIBR because it's much more open. You can Inferno's a classic map. Everyone knows how to play it, and it's great and everything like that. But when you have a team like this for MIBR, when they have not had a huge amount of time to prepare, you're liking Dust 2, you're liking Cash, you're liking Mirage, you're liking these maps where you can have a style of play which allows your individuals to get going more and to create more play around the map with just firepower. And so that's something that I'm really looking forward to because I really want to see this disciplined play from Team Liquid where they're trying to play it safe, they're trying to play it smart and good team play, good reads versus an MIBR that is just hitting all the buttons and firing off on all cylinders and being as explosive as possible.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a very good map for this MIBR roster, but Team Liquid are no strangers to Cash. And again, I think styles make fights. I'm looking forward to this one. I think it's going to be maybe even better than the previous map. I hope we see a tighter game in terms of scoreline. Wouldn't be too sad if it went to 3 maps, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely so far an amazing game to watch because it's just a level of these teams. Even if some, MIBR has been struggling, they are still thinking on the level of a team that's trying to be top 1 in the world and has been top 1 in the world. Like, it's incredible to see these mind games and how certain things are expected from a team that plays correct Counter-Strike at the top level. MIBR are trying to play against that, and Team Liquid are understanding that MIBR are trying to play against that. So they're going to try to mix it up in certain ways and do things that might look a bit silly, but in reality it's to avoid the danger of MIBR trapping them. And MIBR starting off on the T side, and that's what I want to see. Ooh, you don't often see the boost straight away up onto the roof here in middle. This is awesome. Are we going to see that delayed mid-split that often happens in T-pistols? And look at the Naf's playing anti-flash there as well on the front. This is a cool setup. I really want to see MIBR run into it, James.
I feel like Team Liquid are the leaders of unusual CT setups, or proactive, if you will, CT setups on Cash. One of the first teams to play retake on A. And you can see he's showing some flesh, looking for a response. He wants the wolf whistle, but nothing doing just yet. We see the grenades start to slowly stream in. There is a flashbang from Fallen, an easy one to avoid, and here it is, 3 men all of a sudden. How do you react to this? Where are the other 2, MIBR?
Yeah, this is crazy. You call the push, and is there time to even abandon it? You actually just have to fight it out, and the CTs have so much advantage. They found the bomb now as well, so now MIBR are doubly committed to this. They have to go for it. There's no other solution, and they are trapped in a choke point. Coulter has a Molotov, but that's not going to be useful for him. He can't throw that anywhere, really, from this position. And these CTs, they can just keep taking shots. Tarek, I do not have any idea how he was able to sidestep out there, get a frag. How are they doing this?
Oh my God.
This makes absolutely no sense. Taco desperately tries to save this. How the hell did they... What the hell is that?
Coldzera still, I mean, for the longest time he had like 46 HP, and he was dueling in mid for ages with one player. I don't know how he is still alive, let alone the rest. This bomb plant is completely ridiculous. Taco's got almost no HP. What a bizarre situation. You start with 3 people in mid, you frag early, the bomb is down in mid, and still they've planted the bomb. And Taco's alone on a 1 versus 2. This is bizarre. This is stranger than fiction.
That should just never be a thing. That just can't be a thing. Well, Taco, he's got to try to save this, and with 13 HP, it's looking even worse for him than it was looking for MIBR. That is a complete steal. That is daylight robbery. They're just dueling in a tight choke point against multiple players for so long. And Tarek even just walks out and just peeks one corner, completely exposed. I don't understand, but That's the reality. That is the reality, and that is an important pickup for MIBR. And to think that Team Liquid has such an amazing setup in mid, I don't feel like they think justice was done there.
Stranger than fiction. Team Liquid will go for the force buy in this round. How do you not get triggered by that?
So
as a team? Because you have to wonder, how on earth, how was that possible to even lose that? Twist apparently in a second mine, looking to reposition and getting picked off. Lake Taco's on fire now. Although, will not be able to pick him off. Trying to choose the safer engagements. We see the squeaky door is open, Eleague's close. Stewie having a look. There'll be some polite closing of the door. And bells will be rung. CT side now, streaming over towards A. 3 people on the site, and Taco spotting mid for the time being, but a bomb still down in useless room. Oh boy, look at this damage from Nafly, the pre-fire with the 5-7. All of a sudden, we're in a 3-on-3.
Some guns, but unfortunately, to get those guns, they lost almost all of their HP. So it's going to be difficult for them to take fights, but at least there's some additional firepower to be had in those. And also an option to actually save them if, let's say, there's a bomb down and Taco can't do any damage. And that's UMPs and full Kevlar with helmets, so too. So there is some real value there. And so I think it really depends on what Taco can find as to whether or not Liquid will consider or even entertain a possibility of pushing forwards. And he will go down straight away. So, yeah, CZ, they have a CZ and a 5-7, Molotov flash, the armor, helmet, and the UMPs. So that is awesome because next round, of course, they're not going to have any money. So it will help out a lot. But unfortunately, Eleague goes down. Otherwise, that would have been 2 UMPs and two really good pistols in that next round, which would be
2 primary weapons, 2 secondary weapons, can spread them across 4 players, but now it is fiction as well because they do not have that anymore. Nafly trying to save with 9 HP. He looks good for the save at least on the other side of the map to his opponents. But that is a great start from MIBR. What a boost in that first round, honestly. The fashion in which they managed to claw out the W there just is exactly what you need when you're a map down versus your opponent. Sending a statement to them and to yourselves. Some positive reinforcement there. And they remain in a position to capitalize on that. So Nafly, I assume he's dropped a pistol. He will stay with the UMP. Has a molly. Other than that, not much will be purchased. 2-2-1 start for Team Liquid in this eco round. And MIBR are well equipped here. 4 Molotovs on the 5 players. A money-making round for them. Stewie has the MAC-10, so we'll see what he's able to achieve with it. Interesting to see a 5-7 as well, because it has very much fallen out of popularity.
It's definitely cool to see it in the way that it was used too, because the nature of the frags that it made wouldn't really be possible with the CZ because of the automatic fire, and you run out of bullets very quickly. But as we see this round cleaned up by MIBR, they're going to be pretty happy. A straightforward start, you know, going 3-0 up, building some monies. I would say, though, that Liquid have absolutely done exactly enough from a pressure perspective. Wow. Actually gets an additional kill there. So
value. I
believe that was 2 players dead in the previous round, 3 players dead in that round. That's actually really impressive. And look who it is. It's Jason Baker. And it's awesome to see Jason tuning in. Of course, he used to be one of the directors here.
Yeah, it is quite cold here. I'm wearing an undershirt to stave off the cold temperatures. Jason Baker. Well, he knows what I call him. I can't say it on the broadcast. 3-0. Big fat 3-0 for Team Liquid. They won't start with a sniper rifle in their buy round. Will be the 5-4s. We see Galils once again on Fallen on this occasion. And once more, well, both teams are well equipped now. Initial smokes in main on A, and Nitro's up to something dirty. Some pre-fire for a potential boost from Tariq, but Liquid have made their way through the smoke grenade. Now all is known by MIBR. They will deliver grenades there. In the meantime, Stewie clearing out the B area. A good default to have. And they've got checkers pretty quickly. 1 minute 20 on the clock.
It's a really good spots for MIBR. You know, that really fast map control. You know, you've got a good idea about middle, the CTs avoided it. So Liquid are really in a position where they need to find out what's going on. And one of the best ways to do it is by pushing a position. Obviously, MIBR have presence on checkers, and Liquid know that. Usually this forces a rotation, and by having mid control, it gives an opportunity for MIBR to do an A split or something like that, to capitalize on the scare, like how scared Liquid are in a B attack. But Liquid are not really overreacting here, and that's what MIBR are looking for, but it doesn't really matter because this is a strong push into the bomb site. There's no resistance.
Eleague gets absolutely wiped out, and he was rotating towards the B bomb site, but he had no flashes to throw in high. Now, Liquid, they took main early, then they abandoned it, then went for the retake for information, but they were so far away. They invested 3 players in that, the 2 players on B playing from the site itself. But that is the question. MIBR are asking questions of Team Liquid. We're going to take checkers on B with a minute 20 on the clock. That is a hell of a lot of time.
Yeah.
And MIBR are not shy to play a slow round, so Liquid may have thought that they had more time than they did. And Fer will finish off the job. That is a complete wipeout for Team Liquid.
It does force a response out of Liquid too, because that position, as James said, it's so strong because it allows you to have a very strong B attack, or it allows you to scare the CTs into a rotation, which makes an A split really strong as well. And so that gives way too much control to the T side. So Team Liquid have to create a response by making sure that they play more actively towards that checker's position to try to make sure that it costs MIBR more and that they have to invest everyone if they want to take it in the future.
What's also interesting is that if that kind of thing continues, very early aggression and map control that you wouldn't expect of such a timing, will they draw Liquid away from their own game plan and force Liquid to play a more aggressive style? Because that may suit the MIBR team, having the AKs on the T side with the players they have as well. Something we need to look out for as this game on Cash continues.
And there is one more alternative, I think, for Team Liquid facing such a style of play from MIBR, and that is to have more control around middle. It's like a 3-player mid stack. Oh, denied. Absolutely denied.
You know what that reminds me of? When we were in the Bahamas, and I had a plate of chicken on, and a seagull, I went to get a drink, and a seagull flew and took the chicken from my plate. And I couldn't eat the chicken. And that's what it felt like. I was salivating. And then all of a sudden, my protein was gone.
Well, I'm curious to, moving away from your protein, James, I'm curious to see exactly what the response is from Liquid. Is it going to be more presence in mid at the beginning of the round? Because one of the other issues about what I was saying about how dangerous checkers control is that you know the T's are sitting in middle. And if you go for info in mid and they get a pick, you are absolutely screwed. So one way to avoid this is by taking middle and making sure that the T's cannot get it early or in the mid round. So that could be a response here from Liquid. And well, they have double orbs, so double orbs are always good. Forward smoke it, so they're going to make sure that MIBR wait before they take checkers this time.
This is very curious. You don't normally smoke off CT when you have a sniper rifle. But now what's Nafla going to do? There's a fast play once again. There goes one. What kind of support does he have? Doesn't matter because he's dead now. Taco at the back of the site, and that's the round over. Surely that is the round over.
Wow. That is not a contact play that was expected from Liquid. There is still a chance to do this. They have an incendiary that can be tossed onto the bomb site, and there will often be one player at least on the site in this kind of a situation. But the lack of retake smokes is a really big issue, and you can see that they don't like the look of this and want to instead put the emphasis on valuing these 3 save weapons into the following rounds, these 3 weapons can win them the next round. So definitely a smart choice. But that was just such a genius time to burst the B bomb site. Especially after Liquid put that forward smoke, because that forward smoke can mean 2 things. It can mean that we see a rotation out and they only have 1 player on the B bomb site, or it can mean that Liquid have a setup there to really hold it strong. And it's a gamble, and by MIBR taking that gamble, they've just crushed Team Liquid.
We have seen so many really, really, really slow rounds from MIBR, from previous rosters over the months and years, that I feel like this is basically anarchy to watch them play around out like that. And I cannot imagine that Liquid are prepared for such shenanigans. Look how much money is on the MIBR side now. Liquid are in that situation, that kind of Vega Squadron NIP situation where if Liquid win one round and then lose a round, we may be talking an 11-1 scoreline here on Cash.
Yeah,
so they are in much trouble.
They tried to do it again. Well, that's a good flash. Get the information. Sees the bomb. That's pretty huge. Now Liquid can start to go for the rotation. The Beast players start to move as well. And MIBR, they don't have to commit to this. It's a 4v4. That is still favorable for them. Liquid are investing more utility into the choke point. MIBR can reset the round. They've got 120. They can go for a mid take. Liquid have abandoned positions. They're afraid of an A push. And this has cleared out space that MIBR can now take on the map. And they are indeed going for that mid play, knowing that at worst, there'll be one player, probably highway, but not even deep highway.
I believe Taco's just dropped a new smoke outside the B bomb site. But here's an attempted split of the A site, maybe, or maybe not actually. Cold Zero is just holding the B area. So what are MIBR trying to achieve now? 3 of the 4 players for Liquid over towards the A site. And Further is in a position to wrap, but Taco, he's wondering what's going on, but he's not expecting First to be in his position. Does First have a sound cue from below? This is getting really weird now. This position will help you look over a smoke grenade if one comes in towards CT, so Taco can see some of what's going on. This is very unusual, isn't it? 27 seconds left. First in a strong position post-plant, so gambles may have to be taken. There is no smoke here for the T side. Will they deploy a flashbang? Oh, he hasn't seen him yet, finally. But that causes a trade. If he saw him immediately, who knows what might have happened.
And it's incredible that MIBR have sort of created this mid-round situation with the early aggression to get a bomb down here. Fallen will be stuck on the bomb site, but he has got Cold trying to anchor from the checker's position, and that is a good plan for Cold Zero to try to defend. He's got a couple flashbangs. He might have to do this alone. Fallen can't help him very well, and he's going to go down straight away. Fallen on 20 HP, and that is just not enough to withstand a fight, and Liquid will survive with all 3 players, and that is a nightmare situation avoided for Team Liquid. They needed this round badly, and they will get the orb back.
Well, that's one nightmare avoided, but there are plenty of nightmares to come for Liquid unless they can prevail. If there was one more frag there for MIBR, that would have been quite something. 3 surviving is very important for Team Liquid, but now they have to win 2 more rounds in a row. Otherwise, they're going to be in plenty of trouble. I've seen weirder than that here on Eleague, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
These are low levels of weird. We're going to need some better gifts.
Yeah, we've been to some very strange places, which I don't intend to revisit. So
some of which had my head on the top of. So
yeah,
interesting times. So there is a timeout tactical from MIBR, and again, this is a good time to say to your team, this is a good round for us to win. If we have so much money, we can overwhelm them, and then we can aim for 11-1. Let's aim for 11-1, boys. We're taking the next 5 rounds. Let's go.
So one thing we have to consider as well, and that's something that Liquid will be thinking about, is the nature of how MIBR have been making the calls. Because as you mentioned, they played a lot of fast rounds, a lot of contact plays. They've been trying to use the numbers, and that means that there's going to be a spot where playing a slow round will be very good, because Liquid will be much more willing to throw utility very early into the rounds, which gives a tactical advantage to the Ts later into the round. And we might just see another really fast play. That smoke could help them. If they know how to do the set piece behind the smoke, this could be devastating for Liquid. But Liquid are playing retake on A at the moment. They're
rotating plays towards A because Nafly and Taco went for an aggression towards the B bomb site. Taco's in the sunroom now, so this is what I'm talking about, the early aggression that MIBR are forcing Liquid to do at this point. Wondering what's going on around the forklift position. There's a smoke on top to allow the T's to jump over Red and see if anybody's on the side. But look at the flash from Taco now. He's heard by Cold. They haven't all pushed into the site just yet, taking their time, and now the bomb goes down.
He's creeping in from Squeaky, and that is big. Takes down Fur, now creates a lot of distraction. They have to worry about Door. They have to worry about pretty much everything at this point. Obviously, we do have Cold in the main position, but he's so weak, it's hard for him to take a fight. He needs his teammates to play off of him, and he's going to try to do his best, but again, health is not with him. It's down to Tarek, and he will be just trapped by a multitude of CTs, and that's going to be another round for Team Liquid. A much-needed one, and as you're saying, James, we had that fast info play, and that's another great way for Liquid to try to deal with MIBR's very fast pace on the map, because they need that information early. They need the warning system.
Yeah, But if they are doing that every round when it's buy versus buy, that's going to be brittle for them. And I feel like that might play into the hands of MIBR. Again, 3 people survive for Team Liquid. They have a second sniper rifle now, so they changed their CT setup once again. But there's still money for MIBR. So from Team Liquid's perspective, okay, we got our consecutive round, but we need at least one more, especially because because MIBR planted the bomb in that round, so they get a bit more money to stretch their buys out yet longer. So it's another key round here for Team Liquid, and you see the aggression in mid now. Twist and Eleague, a 1-2-2 setup from Team Liquid.
Another fast one indeed. The double orbs here for Liquid. It might be difficult. Nitro can't really miss too many shots. He gets traded out by Fallen. And Eleague over the top. He will have a fast timing for the flank. He may be one of the very key players for Team Liquid in this retake. And his teammates have to wait for him to get into position, because if he has no distraction, he won't have any impact with this flank. And there's Cold going for the check. They know that Eleague is coming. Now his teammates have to play off of his distraction. But can they find a way in? Eleague is burning. Oh my god, he's going to burn. Oh wow, down to 15 HP. And this is not happening for Team Liquid. It's a bit awkward, but Tarek will get it done. Another fast play working out for MIBR.
This is crazy. From Team Liquid's perspective, how can you prepare for any of these rounds that MIBR are offering? Even if you take an aggression somewhere, you may go up against 4 players, or you will be out of position because they're going fast somewhere else. So it's just gamble after gamble. They are on the roulette table, and most of the chips are on the line. Now 2 players survive for Liquid. We'll soon see what the implications are for their money. 5 surviving for MIBR, so they are back in control. Fallen still above $10,000. Ooh, the crouch peek from Nitro. Punished there by Fallen.
Yeah. And Fallen
That's
had
a nice one. That's a clean shot.
Or rather, Nitro had a chance too. You know, he missed that first shot. If he hits that first shot, it may be different as to how he positions and so on, but Fallen was ready. And this MIBR team is so scary playing this kind of aggressive, loose style. Eleague, this is definitely a change of pace, walking straight in through the warehouse.
We've got Pronax strats. He got hit by the last tick of the Molotov. So I don't know if MIBR heard that sound cue, if Tarek is aware that he could be very close indeed. Seems like he wanted to peek there, but he probably would have got shot straight in the face. He stopped just short of it. Eleague still waiting for somebody to peek him.
Did they mess up that Molotov? I'm not sure if they did. I think it was burning on top of the boost for a bit, but that's okay. They will make their way across either way. And Eleague, he can really shut this down. It's got to be so careful. Oh, he hasn't been spotted. That's the bomb as well. How long can Eleague hold this? He's going to move back into mid. This is crazy, but he still gets the kill. He makes it look so smooth, looking for more damage as he will eventually be taken down, but he has absolutely thrown a wrench into the works for MIBR.
Those are really big frags from Eleague. Again, Team Liquid, they understand that even whether MIBR are trying to make him do it or not, they have to get aggressive. But it is proving to have some success. Twist now has made its way all the way through main, and the bomb's coming in his direction, but is he ready for it? He is! Oh, Cold with his knife out as well. Cold has to win this duel, otherwise the round is surely over. Stewie having to rotate from a main. Twist now taking an off angle, but he can see through T Warehouse, and Stewie's going to have the wrong angle. Surely Twist comes out for the peek. He knows he's going to get re-peeked before he goes around the corner, Stewie. That is that's a very important round for Team Liquid. They pick up the AWP towards the end. They've saved 2 AKs, and they've got big fraggers on their team as well. We haven't really even mentioned that. Very key round for Team Liquid.
Yeah, and it's Team Liquid stooping to MIBR's level, just going for crazy aggression, trying to be unpredictable, trying to keep them on their toes, trying to create a situation where you get the frags early. So if they have a game plan, you immediately just kill it, and they have to just improvise from that position onwards. And that was, as you say, so needed for Liquid. I felt as though their momentum was just against them.
Taco is having a nightmare of a series at the moment. 0 for 9. But we'll see. It's never too late to get it back into the game. And of course, they are a map up over MIBR. So we'll see how this changes. He has been over towards the B bomb site. In fairness, when MIBR have gone towards B, it's been like almost the entire team. There's only so much you can do, and he has been left on his own a lot. So those of you who look at the kill board and then start tweeting, hold your bloody horses. 1 minute 15 on the clock. Both these teams very well equipped, and it seems that MIBR will have a change of pace now.
And especially considering that Liquid have started the aggression, that's one of the things that would trigger a change of pace here for MIBR to catch out that aggression, get a 5v4, and that aggression, backfires on Team Liquid. That's how it could go when they slow things down like this. But of course, Team Liquid, they just had that one aggression. They got the round win. Now they're back to playing, believing in their sort of standard setups and trying to be covering all their bases. And Nitro, not actually cleared with any Molotovs there, able to play out of the vent, and that's big. MIBR tried to move forwards. They wanted to set up an A split, but it's going to have to just be an A push with 2 players from the door. That's not all that successful. That's a beautiful hold of middle for Team Liquid to prevent this round working out for MIBR.
That was quite interesting. MIBR did the wall of smoke in mid, but also had one on top of the roof next to the vents, so they could jump up on the box without being seen from Connector or the white box. But as you said, Nitro was in the vent itself. Eleague was in the smoke as well, ready to play off a bait from his teammate. So Liquid were well prepared from that. Perhaps to telegraph from MIBR, who can still buy. Running out of rounds at the moment in this half, and Liquid are on a comeback. This is 2 rounds in a row, and they've won 4 of the last 5 rounds, Team Liquid. So momentum starting to pull them back into this map of cash.
Yeah, it's really cool to see that resilience from Team Liquid. There's so many ways that this can go wrong for them, but they are managing to keep their cool. Still behind, though, and this is the round they must win.
Look at this buy from MIBR. They could have bought a lot more, but they've gone with 2 AKs and 3 pistols, and it looks like another fast play with just a few flashbangs.
Nitro on the core position, has to hold this down. He only gets damage. His twist now in a corner. It's very difficult to do much from there. Very tradable. Ooh. And Fur with a fantastic shot on Eleague as he goes wide. Drops where he stands. And now there is still a chance for Team Liquid, but it's looking quite labored. A 2v3. They do have some nades on Taco. And he's going to have to be very sharp here. Naf's on an AWP. That's a good start from Taco. Can he find the trade fragger, though, in main? He knows someone's lurking in there. This is so difficult. Pulls out the 5-7. Taco can't finish it off Stewie. My goodness. That was not supposed to be a round that they won, James.
Yeah, that was a difficult retake attempt for Team Liquid. Their money is not spectacular, but they can still buy. That was such an important frag, and then Fur comes in with the second one. That's Dirt McGirt. Stewie with a 2K to finish off the job. And that is 8 rounds for MIBR. Nice.
That's disgusting. That is both Fur and Stewie each had a disgusting kill there. That is, what can you do about that?
It's a wild game of Counter-Strike on Cash. MIBR with double the score of their opponent, and more aggression from Team Liquid. They will win the flashbang duel. But Fallen's gone back with the AWP. 1 CT beyond the angle, and he will beat Molotovs away. Liquid had 4 players around the A site, so they're having to be all over the place on this game of Cash. I think the T side will be a relief for them. Only 3 rounds in rain here for MIBR to cause more anarchy and mayhem.
Yeah, the T side is going to be fascinating. I can't imagine how that's going to play out with Team Liquid there in the second half, but can they still make this a workable scoreline moving into that second half? 7 rounds still up for grabs. They've got 5 rifles. The utility is starting to wane, and they have 0 defuse kits, which might be a problem. And that's an easy trade for Fur. Tries to transfer it, but fortunately for Liquid, they have a man to trade there, ready and waiting. 4 versus 3 for Team Liquid. Now a 3 versus 3. Cold, peeking out into middle, getting a long-range kill. And now 40 seconds to go, and Liquid have to figure out what the hell's going on.
On the subject of ready and waiting, Stewie's in Squeaky Door. He has full grenades. He can offer a Molotov towards the forklift position to help the push. He can smoke off quad if that's what they want to do, but Twist is in a very strong position. It's going to be really hard to trade that. Stewie can't do anything about that. Preemptive Molotovs. Twist knows, he's aware of what could be. There is a smoke now from Fallen. Sprayed through the smoke. There's a molly towards Fork. Maybe Twist would have gone in that direction, but with 12 seconds, it's a really strong advantage here for Liquid. Twist on the flank now. Fallen has to commit to the bomb plant, and he will get no plants.
Twist, the way Twist just held an entire bomb site against 3 players with perfect repositioning, with perfect positioning and repositioning, and then perfect use of utility, and prevents the bomb plant, and predicts exactly what everyone's going to do. That's incredible. That was awesome to watch.
Game sense. experience. MIBR back on the pistols. $2,500. 2 smoke grenades and 1 flashbang. Where might they be headed? Got players moving towards Squeaky. 2 players in A main, trying to avoid the flashbangs. Right then, what have you got for us? Nitro. That's going to be a nice starting frag. Can the body get out fast enough? It will isolate one player at the very least. Nitro with a fast peek and a fast frag. Can't see the player on the high ground, but the communication is there. You can see him looking all over the place. He's scanning like a Dalek. But he can't get another frag, not just yet. That's a nice one from Tarek. Okay, Nitro, all over the shot. Is that an ace? It is. That's ridiculous.
What the hell was that?
What kind of anomalous round is that? He thinks it's hilarious. He's laughing his ass off.
That was, I think, the third kill. I think like it was a weird no scope through the quad barrels. I have no idea what the hell was going on there. That was, that was a treat. The level of Counter-Strike here is just absolutely beautiful.
That was nice. Yeah, that was nice. That was nice.
Oh man.
He reached maximum levels of nice.
Oh, God, nice shit. I didn't see that.
That was an LOL round.
Oh my God. It's just, what do you say to that? The level on both these teams, and just look at how the spirits, how that impacts the spirits of Team Liquid. You know, everyone's just sent into, smiles, everyone feels good. They see that incredible display from Nitro. Around that, absolutely. If he doesn't get even, if you leave 2 or 3 of those players alive, there's a problem.
We don't normally care about eco aces at all.
Yeah.
But he was in such a challenging position with the AWP, no scoping people through the corner of the barrels and so on. That was quite outstanding. And now we move into the last round of the first half. Nitro will continue with the only sniper in this round. And there is Eleague again, hungry for these frags, trying to take the game away from MIBR. It's so difficult, though, to move from this position towards useless. Maybe here's some steps from Fer, but Fer's good for it.
That is a lot of damage, actually. Despite going down a man, these MIBR players are looking quite weak. Taco's in a horrible spot right there. There's a big potential that they can try to finish him off with HEs if they had them, but there's only one player. It wasn't a huge and committed effort that we saw at the beginning of this T side from MIBR, but they are looking and thinking about this B split. It is a possibility here. They have mid control. They've got the player in Sunroom still in Cold Zero. Lacking utility, however, and health. This is going to be very hard for MIBR. Taco's going walkabouts. They're going aggressive. That might be the opening that they need.
Nafly on his own. Hello. They're lining up, and he will force a team kill. And there's a 3rd kill for him, and a 4th. It looks like we're going to have a close game here. Round 7 should be in the bag, but Tarek has a bomb site to himself. 35 seconds. Trying to invite one of these players to take him out. He's ready for it. He's got a flashbang as well. He can bounce it off the ceiling. 14 bullets, but no time to reload, and they immediately charge. Round number 7 in the bag for Team Liquid.
One quick note there as well for some of you aspiring Counter-Strike players. Like, look how Nitro decided as the first man in. He went wide. He went super wide. Instead of going headshot, he goes very wide in front of the site. And that way, with the timing works out, that it's impossible for a T to actually trade. Or rather, for a T to actually get one-on-ones, that is. So just a small detail, but everything that these top-level players do is notable. So, as you said, James, we absolutely have a game on our hands here. This was an incredible display of skill, because that's one of the things that MIBR have really tried to leverage. They're unpredictable. They're playing a style that you can't prepare for. The level of individual skill they have is nuts. And Team Liquid are right up there with them. Like the same reaction that all of his teammates had.
Yeah, that was a completely ridiculous round, but that's a great warm-up moving into the second half as well, isn't it? To get through a challenging round such as that. Yep. With everything intact. Really nice stuff from Nitro. Probably still laughing about it now. We will soon be into the second half. MIBR now. That was quite a fun half from them on the T side. And that's a great way to finish for Team Liquid, especially having to deal with all that madness, the fast rounds, the slow rounds. But they weren't afraid to step up. You saw Eleague pushing through mid there and so on. And now people like Eleague, they get to enjoy the AKs on the T side. What will they have in store for MIBR?
Yeah, you can't predict this one, can you? It is exciting stuff here. We're going to see 2 smokes here from Team Liquid, a bunch of flashbangs, a decent amount of utility purchase, no P50s, anything like that. Double flash from Fallen.
Taco just got shot in the head by one of his teammates.
A kid, okay. Have to shake it off.
It's one thing to knife someone well, knife someone on your team, but to accidentally shoot them in the head. He's having a bad enough game as it is.
Yeah.
Why would you start him off that way?
Add insult to injury. But despite that, 7 rounds for Team Liquids, and MIBR are playing 3 men on the A sites, so they're very well able to deal with any pushes through Squeaky that have been popular recently. But Team Liquid are all going towards the B site, and there's no retake smokes for MIBR. This will be very difficult. If they lose the site, if cold0 can't get damage here, this is a huge problem for MIBR.
There we go, Taco with the 2nd kill to open it up, and indeed then, they are going to have problems, but I mean, they had problems in the first pistol round as well. Look what happened there.
That's a good point.
Let's see what they can do. Stewie trying to identify where these players are. It's very dangerous to move through the vents, but they will do it and they will die. Nafly has had quite enough of that nonsense. No kills for MIBR in that pistol round. And at what point do MIBR start to get nervous, bearing in mind that Team Liquid are 1 game up at the moment?
Yeah, it's a good question. I do wonder what the expectations are around MIBR. I think this lineup that they have with Tarek, I think it's something that they are really happy with, and I think that's going to really emphasize the long term for them. That long term journey back into prominence and to create a new era. As this core once held perhaps one of the most dominant areas that we've seen. But a fast anti-force buy here from Team Liquid. And they will be smoked off by MIBR. Twist got a kill out of it though, towards quad, just spraying for the smoke. That's a nice pickup.
Yeah, first lucky to be alive as well. But fork position, as I say that, he will finally go down. Liquid giving you great examples as to why spraying through smokes can be so powerful. I don't think that the casual players among us really think about it so much, but there is good reason for it. Those smoke grenades are not brick walls, but people will sometimes treat them as such. Fallen, Cold, and Stewie remain. And this is certainly a neutered setup now for the CT side. 2 on A, 1 on B. They've abandoned the mid position, although they can expect some grenade queues in mid, should Liquid choose to go there.
Liquid have done well, making sure that they can spread out these CTs by waiting, and Fallen will go down. Now cold0 is isolated. Stewie's coming in. He does have a flashbang. That's a good start, but Twist will not allow him to do anything else. And Stewie might want to try and steal away a gun here and save it. But wow, okay, jumping UMP to steal away his dreams. And that's 9-8 for Team Liquid. They convert against the force buy, and that's the scariest round, I would imagine, after winning that pistol. So easy sailing in this next one.
Twist is a big chewer during matches.
Yeah, so I've brought this a few times, and you can look into it. That's something that most cyclists do as well. It's supposed to improve focus. Other professionals have used it in the past to great success.
Alex Ferguson was a big chewer. Long-time Manchester United manager. So this is a money-making round for Team Liquid, and they've got plenty of SMGs with which to farm cash, but it seems that Nafly will be harvested by the CT side. The bomb's very quickly made its way in towards the B bomb site. Eleague pushing the smoke with an AK, no fear from him. And down goes the bomb. A formality at this point. And now MIBR have a choice to make. For the most part, they can try to avoid being farmed for money. And Fallen has a MAC-10, and it would make sense for him to try and get some more cash out of this. And now Tarek's got a UMP as well. He could do the same. On a map as open as cash, they may not necessarily want to try to make use of these in a buy round. Especially as they will be behind their opponent. Where are all these kills coming from in a USP round? Twist will now be alone. Money more of a priority though for the CT side. Yeah,
to confer, find something. no. It seems like he can't find anything there. So that's okay. That works out kind of okay. Again, you never really want to lose that many players, but Team Liquid's previous round, the anti-force buy was very successful, and they didn't lose any players really. I think maybe one. Yeah, it was one, I think, from Colzera's Deagle. So that's okay. It works out all right for Team Liquid. Still with some decent bank into this round. However, the AWP is coming into the hands of Fallen straight away. And now we're going to get a taste of exactly how MIBR want to start this CT site. Do they want to get aggressive? Do they want to just keep things just calm and standard and just feel out the offense of Team Liquid? It seems like that is going to be the approach to begin with.
Worth noting that those kills in the previous round give MIBR plenty more grenades than they would otherwise have. Taco spots the player, goes for the duel, but Fur's good for it. Some cover from the forklift position. Opportunist attempt there from Taco, but doesn't go his way. So, especially when you lose the pistol round on the CT side, you'll often be very short on grenades in your first buy round. So, that's definitely a boon to the economy.
And that's one of those spots where, like, the play's really optimal if he has his gun out and ready, but now the player spotted him and they have an equal draw time and you're in a choke point. And so then it's like it's hard to know who has the advantage if there is one at all. And so you probably still want to take that duel as the tease.
He's got an AK, he's got an M4.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like there is an argument that maybe you would want to give that duel up now. And that can happen sometimes, that you want to make up for a mistake that you made and you commit to a decision that's not necessarily optimal anymore. But we'll see if it's a big deal. MIBR are very comfortable here in this position. They've got a good response on the A site to the aggression coming in. Oh, that's
Preemptive attempt there from Tarek. Doesn't know if he's exposed as well, but the frags keep coming for these AK-47s. Insta-trade. And the last two MIBR players, the bomb's not planted just yet. As I say that, of course, it goes down, and Twist is dispatched off very quickly indeed. Stewie's gone past the car angle already. Nafly looking for a flank from the squeaky door. He needs to get back to the site. A player in squeaky at this point may be undetected. No grenades here for the T side. Flashbangs flying in, and you can see Nafly is baiting his teammate. He will pop out soon enough. Takes out the forklift player. Stewie knows he's in trouble. It's a pre-fire from him. And I think he ran out of bullets there, trying to pick up another weapon, but the trade is there for Nafly.
That's a great round. Again, you know, in losing Taco early, it's really good to then be able to convert the round still. And they did it in a way in which MIBR did oftentimes, where they just burst in. He's having a hell of a day so far, isn't he?
Yeah, he is absolutely on fire. Twist is playing at the max of his abilities, you might say. 18 for 9 at the moment is Twist with 4 assists. Topping the server in terms of frags, as is Fur though. Nitro very aggressive with the AWP. MIBR would sometimes boost players on this roof to get over to the other side of mid quickly, but it's not a common play from any team really. Has its own risks if there's a fast flashbang. Look at this map control from Liquid, a minute 30, and they're looking up into A from mid.
It's really good because there was 5 smokes from MIBR, and we saw them do that obviously on CT Inferno with great success, but this is not CT Inferno. It's harder to make that work on Cash. And especially now that Liquid have taken mid so quickly, as you mentioned, it makes those smoke grenades a bit weaker because there's always a way that they can find into these bomb sites. So at this point, with one of those, with another pick-off, and a minute left, Team Liquid are not really messing around. Oh, they will mess up the run boost, but
he didn't even go in the right direction. Like, what's he pressing on his keyboard? He needs a bottle of custom, that's what he needs. Liquid now taking out Coldzera as he jumps into the site. Stewie gets 1 frag, but the reload is so long. And now it is Fur coming through A main. Far away from really anything worth salvaging. See him there, pondering where everybody's gone. It's been evacuated. You see the odd spray. Maybe he can leave a spray of his own somewhere.
It's actually really impressive to me seeing the level of detail from Liquid again and again, and some of the thought processes and the mind games between these two teams. And there were some genuine scary spots in this game for Team Liquid, where MIBR started to take incredible momentum. There was a real potential that MIBR could have gotten maybe like an 11-4 first half. then turned into an 8-7 instead by the quality of Liquid. And I agree with that tweet. From what I'm seeing, it does feel as though Liquid are ready to, like they could be one of the favorites with the level that they're showing.
MIBR have taken a tactical timeout. They have not won a round in this half yet. It's worth mentioning. Tarek's bought a UMP. The struggle is real. This is, they're at maximum loss bonus, and he still has to buy a UMP. That is curious. So we will see what they can do. Team Liquid in a strong position. If Team Liquid win this round, I think you have to concede that there is a very high percentage that they take this map. And the rest.
Yeah, I think you're right. It does put MIBR into a really, really high-risk spot. But they would need something incredible to pull them back in. And we'll see Tarek going aggressive. He's going to go straight through the smoke. Okay, so
oh my god, stop Eleague!
He's so insane, isn't he?
Oh my god.
So fast.
I don't even know what to say.
What do you do now? Fallen, there's a chance here from this position. Oh, goes for the flick shot through the door. Can't get it though. He's they're just creating such an awkward spot for him. He's just wasting all this time.
Yeah, what they're creating, Dan, it's a humanitarian crisis for MIBR.
Yeah, this is rough. Oh wow, that explosiveness is awesome to see from Eleague.
Got shot through the wall. I'm pretty sure. The punctures. I think Twist shot him through the wall from the car position. Holy potatoes. Eleague, what are you on, son?
Yeah, that was awesome. He's went so deep for that first kill as well. I thought that the forward position Tarek would be a problem, but
dude, look at that.
Man.
He's like an aimbot.
It's going in for Team Liquid.
Nice, guys. Nice entries.
Yeah, no
How
kidding.
can you be so calm after that?
No
I'd be like,
kidding.
yes! I'd be screaming. That was hype.
13-8, and as you said, James, if MIBR lost the last round, they are probably donesos. Let's see if they can fight their way back with the mere pistols.
This buy sucks. 5-round lead for Team Liquid. Very strong position indeed. Oh, ding dong. Fallen says hello. He has bullets left for another kill, but Nafly will deny. Well positioned to trade. I wonder where the gun is. Is it on the roof? Probably. Could have fallen down into mid. Will somebody be greedy and try to retrieve it? These players will know that Team Liquid will be likely to try and protect the weapon. So you can't just walk over and pick it up. No rambling hike through mid. Tarek outside the B bomb site with the scout. The rest of the team moving a little between mid and A. And as I say that, Tarek's coming towards the mid position himself. Perhaps looking for the players who are looking for the CTs, who may be looking for that gun.
So we saw previously Liquid were pretty quick in some of these rounds, and this one is not that way. They are being really slow, and it could potentially hurt them. They do have Molotovs, which will be very useful thrown onto the B-bomb site. However, they are leaving themselves with 20 seconds, and you never want to see this. Tarek, if he starts it off with a headshot, that's scary. He gets the tag. They are losing players, but the Molotovs are doing the job they're supposed to do. But there's 10 seconds to plant the bomb. They'll be able to do so. Good trading as they move on to that B site, and the bomb will go down in time. And it's very in a 1v2. This is very doable.
Moving as quickly as possible because he has conceded his position, but Nitro doesn't need too many opportunities, and there is the win, the round win for Team Liquid, as it should be. And now we move towards 14-8. MIBR can no longer afford to lose any rounds. Still at maximum loss bonus. They have still not won a single round in this half.
Incredible. This is definitely a good start to the tournament for Team Liquid so far. And right, an AWP onto Fallen, a good amount of utility generally across the CTs of MIBR, and Team Liquid with a default, we will see, player and Squeaky, players sort of making sure that there's presence towards B storage as well, throwing in those expected grenades to make sure the CTs can't push. So presence everywhere, usually around like this, will end up in around the 1 minute mark. There'll be a mid control from the Ts when mid is less occupied by the CTs because their smokes have gone away, the incendiaries have gone away, and then they get the opportunity to go for a split once they have that map control. That's the typical way around like this could play out. So we'll see. Twist has abandoned the B storage area, so it does indicate to us that A is going to be targeted here by Team Liquid.
That looks like it's going towards the top of highway, if I'm not mistaken. Grenades flying all over the A site. Molotovs towards the door. Team Liquid, the entire team is here. It's basically a 5 versus 1 or 5 versus 2 with Fur on the high ground. As he goes off, Tarek has to do a lot, but Fallen has made his way over, and the frags keep raining in with that AWP. 2 for him so far. Tarek completely blind, and now he's gone, but Stewie trades immediately, and it's Nitro versus 3. They had so many players here, Team Liquid, but now Nitro's in a 1 versus 3, despite it being a 5 versus 2 to start off with. Very unusual. That's a massive frag onto Cold Zero, but there is a double peek from MIBR. One player in connector and Stewie up close. What do we do about this? It's a pre-fire from Stewie. Might have seen an elbow. He drops off. He looks for the second player, but Fallen is ready and waiting.
Yeah, that's tough. What a hero round from Fallen. The long-range AWP shots that he was dropping in as the Ts were arriving onto the site was so critical. And he's not had the best of situations here. That is a great shot to start things off. And oh, the second one, much the same.
I really wonder why the smoke grenade was there in the first place. I obviously we're watching other actions, so I don't know if there was a Molotov there to create a gap or if it was just thrown incorrectly, because normally it bounces off the wall towards the car position and then goes into the middle. So he had a giant gap to play with. I have to look at the demo to see if it was deliberate or not, but here we are, 14-9.
Team Liquid still in a very good spot to make this work. However, if they do lose this round, they are going to be in monetary issue. They're going to have monetary problems. And Sui's going forwards. He wants to force that awkward round for his opponents, but it is instead going to be awkward for MIBR here because this is a 2-4-1. Both teams will have a ruined economy after this round is done if they lose it. And so Liquid in this 5v3. MIBR must be creative if they want to take this back. Tarek could be the difference. He's got a great position, but these are seasoned players. I'm not sure how much damage he can do here.
Such a difficult situation. If you take further risk and you mess it up, it's pretty much GG. If you don't take a risk, it's 5 versus 3, might be GG anyway. Smoke's going down, 2 AWPs. Tarek can feed information as the push is being delayed. You see CTs rotating to the site now. They've got Tarek for cover. Maybe they can focus on a Squeaky Toy. Lets one go past. He can communicate to his team, looking for multiple frags. Hello, is that Shred or is it Tarek? It's Tarek. 3K for him. He keeps his team in the game. 30 seconds remaining. He's got some sound cues. He has the A site, and that flies on the rotation.
This is really big right now because there's no nades for the Ts. The AWPs are so heavily favored in a situation like this. How on earth are Liquid going to do this? But Twist is here to really deny information and make sure that they don't go back towards B. There's the frag. That's going to further convince them that the bomb might even be planted on A right now, as Cold Zero may stick around here for quite some time. But okay, he's gone close enough. He realizes that the running should be heard by Nafly, who is close in that checker's position. Cold is on an MP9 now. This is desperation in every single sense for MIBR. How does Cold do this? And he won't. Nafly will deny him. That's 15 rounds now for Team Liquid.
A valiant effort on the A site from Tarek and the team, really, because they're working together despite his 3 kills there. But it was not enough. Shades of Shroud from way back in the day. Unfortunately, though, Tarek, he's not wearing that C9 jersey anymore. Times have changed. A scout and a bunch of pistols, the odd grenade here and there from MIBR. They raided Grandma's purse and didn't come out with much.
Poor Grandma. MIBR looking for that aggression, and Liquid, they're just playing anti-early aggression. They're just making sure that they're not taking any risks, not playing too deep. They have a safe mid-take They have that mid control. Everything right now just looks horrible for MIBR. They need to get some crazy deagle headshots here. And if Team Liquid are good with their utility and decisive on a split, then I don't know if there's a way for them to be stopped. But Colt is playing close. Maybe, just maybe, there's a chance with these positions that they have that he can create something as they move in towards that B pressure.
Looking for info. Jump peeking, trying to get something. Trying to position in the right place. There's a 1D from Cold, but he's completely blind. So's a trade fragger, but Nafly will trade anew. And the frag starts to rain in for Team Liquid when they're pushing through the smoke. Now they have the bomb site. Tarek on the outside with the scout. He can't deliver the headshot. And it's Stewie versus 3 with a CZ and no grenades. He's got Kevlar and helmet. This is quite the challenge for Stewie. He's against match points. He's behind the smoke. Versus 3 AK players, shoulder picking, looking for info. Spots Nafly close, but he can't do it. Team Liquid will take it 2-0 over MIBR.
First map was an incredible display from them, 16-8. And this one, honestly, the way it started, MIBR, they had so much momentum, they were looking so strong, but Liquid, they are one of the most well-fleshed out teams that we have at the top level of Counter-Strike, and they showed that here today. Definitely something that Zeus can be proud of as they move forwards in the tournaments. But I think MIBR, there's a lot to be said positively about them and what they and their debut here with Tarek.
Yes, that was quite an entertaining game of Counter-Strike. Those T sides were absolutely crazy, very explosive, very unpredictable. And the evolution of the CT side for Liquid was fun to watch in that side as well. More thoughts of the desk from both those maps after the break.